Hi friends. I have something else to say today. Why is it that women try to control their emotions and try to hide their feelings? Why? Just because you need to be strong like a man, because, you know, you can't let anybody else see you cry, you can't let anybody else in because it's scary and it may feel like invading. And like, growing up, I was always crying. I cried for everything. Yes, I cried when my feelings were hurt. I cried when I was sad, when I was angry, when I was frustrated. I cried all the time. That's just how I let out my emotions. And as I started to get older, I started to hide my emotions because I was always just made fun of or picked on for them. And of course, like, that doesn't make you feel good. So I just kept them to myself. And I learned how to brush everything under the rug and keep everything to myself. And you know, after doing that for 10, 15, 20 years, like, it does take a toll on you. Sooner or later, like, your emotions don't just get brushed under the rug. Like, maybe they get brushed under the rug, but the dirt is still there. The dirt is not just gonna go away under the rug. You may, you know, sweep all the dirty laundry underneath the bed, but what? It's just gonna be there. It's still gonna be there a year from now, 10 years from now. And if you keep stuffing the laundry under the bed, all your dirty laundry under the bed, sooner or later, it's not going to fit and it's gonna explode. And then you're going to have this giant mess that you're gonna be like, what in the world? Where is all this coming from? Oh my gosh, I forgot about this, I forgot about that. And then you're just not gonna know what to do with it because it's just overwhelming at that point. That's why you should just let out your emotions as they come. And it took me so long to learn this and to be okay with it. And like, sometimes it's still hard for me to be okay with it, just because like, it is scary, like putting yourself in a vulnerable position. It's scary. It's scary to trust whoever you're around with your real emotions, with your real feelings. And yes, I think that you should, like, you know, don't just spill your guts to anybody that's around you, or to like your newest friend or something like that. Like, of course, know who you're talking to and know who you're around, but let yourself be vulnerable with these people. Let them in. It feels so much better when you let somebody in than when you don't and you just try to deflect everything. It's just not healthy. Like, I keep talking about this man, like my man. When I met him, he was just so intriguing because it's like he already knew so much about me before me even sharing much with him. And yes, it was scary, and like, it's still a little bit scary sometimes, like 2 years later, like, it's still a little bit scary because I'm like, you know me better than I know myself sometimes. And it's like, what? Like, how is that even possible? But like, yeah, it's possible. Because he just pays attention and like, he knows people, psychology. He's really good at that stuff. So like, now I've just learned to just trust him and to just trust him, and to be vulnerable with him. But it took me such a long time for me to get to that point. It took me so long for me to get to the point to just tell him like what's on my mind. Even now, sometimes it's still hard. Like, now, sometimes I still get a little apprehensive because I'm like, oh, like, this doesn't feel good when I have to just open myself up. But every time that I do, does he have a negative remark? No. Does he make me feel bad for the way that I'm feeling? No. Does he like try to say that I'm wrong in any way for my feelings? No, not at all. And it just feels so much better to open myself up and to let somebody in. And I know, like, I know how hard and how scary that is, but sooner or later you're gonna have to. And If you don't, you're just going to end up miserable at like 60 years old, and you're just going to be angry at everybody because it's going to feel like nobody has understood you for your whole entire life. In reality, maybe people were trying to understand you, but you just didn't let them in. You have to put yourself into that vulnerable position for anything to change. And it's okay to be vulnerable sometimes. It's okay. It's okay to cry. It's okay to have emotions, to have your feelings. Like, you don't always have to be this strong woman who doesn't share her feelings, who doesn't show her feelings in any way, shape, or form. Like, to me, that's just unhealthy, because women are such emotional creatures. We are just so emotional that, like, how in the world could we hold that in? It's like, this is kind of, may sound kind of gross, but it's like, kind of like, have you ever tried to like hold in your period? No, it has to come out. I feel like it's the same thing for emotions. They have to come out. Sooner or later, they have to come out. Sooner or later, the period is going to happen, and you can't stop it. There's just nothing you can do about it. It just has to come out, and that's just all there is to it. Like, any woman should understand that. I think I'm just tired of hearing I'm fine, or I'm good, or it doesn't bother me, or whatever, F him, or no, I just don't care about that, or like all of those remarks, and just trying to brush everything off like nothing bothers you. Like, it's okay for something to bother you, even if you don't know why it bothers you, but it bothers you. It's okay. Like, a lot of times now, like, I'll just tell him now, like, I'm not sure why that bothers me right now, but it does, so, you know, like, can we fix that, or like, whatever the case may be. And he's like, okay, well, you know, when you figure it out, let me know. and like, it's not his duty to figure out why something bothers me in the way that it does. Like, that's up to me. If I want something to change, that's up to me. If, you know, you feel bad about something, or if you feel a certain way about something, if you have really strong deep feelings towards something in a negative way, it's up to you to change it, not up to everybody else. Don't put that on anybody else, because it's like, then you just become what they call an energy vampire. You just become an energy vampire, and nobody wants to be around that. Like, who would want to be around somebody who just sucks all of the energy out of you? You want to be around somebody that gives you energy, that lifts up your spirits, not tears them down. So, be a light, be fresh, be fun, be emotional. Women are emotional. Just embrace your emotions. It's okay, you know, to of course, like, yes, there's a time and place for everything, but like, it's okay to like act like the little girl inside of you sometimes. Like, there's like, for years I just acted like, ooh, I don't show emotion and I'm fine with everything, and now it's like, he's brought me out of that shell, and I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for him it's just like opening me up layer by layer, being patient with me, opening up layer by layer, because now it's like I know who my true self is now with his help. And now it's like I can be my true self with myself and with him. It's like I can, and it's so inspiring. It's so powerful. I feel like so much weight has shed off my shoulders. I feel uplifted. I feel light. I feel energized. And why? Because I let myself be vulnerable. Because I put myself in a situation where I just had to share my feelings, where I just had to show my feelings. Yeah, it didn't feel good in the time, and it still doesn't feel good sometimes, but ultimately it's going to feel great. The end result is so worth it. So please don't be afraid to show your emotions. It's okay if you cry. It's okay if you have a bad day, but don't put it on other people to fix it or to change you. It comes from within. And I'll leave you with that. TTFN.